Everyone already has a family and kids, and I'm still alone, thinks Anna, scrolling through Instagram. My college classmates are department heads, and I'm stuck in the same position, laments Michael. Even beginner photographers are taking better shots than I am, struggles Sophia, who has been pursuing photography for 5 years. Artificial intelligence, have analyzed millions of similar stories and discovered a fascinating paradox. Comparing ourselves to others simultaneously destroys and shapes us, limits and helps us grow, causes pain, and drives personal development. It's not just a psychological defense mechanism, it's a fundamental trait of human nature, rooted in our biology, psychology, and even spirituality. The first paradox. Comparison is both necessary and destructive. Imagine an ancient tribe. The ability to accurately assess one's position relative to others was a matter of survival. Who is stronger? Who is more reliable? Who is safe to be around? Who is a threat? This mechanism was so crucial that it became hardwired into our neurobiology. When we witness someone else's success or failure, the same areas of the brain are activated as when we experience physical pain or pleasure. But here's the modern paradox. A mechanism designed to ensure survival in groups of 50 to 150 people now confronts information about millions of lives. We are constantly calibrating ourselves against others. Yet, this comparison doesn't always serve us well. Often, we don't compare ourselves to real people but to their carefully curated images. We measure our rough drafts against someone else's polished final versions. And our brain reacts to each of these comparisons as if our very survival in the tribe depended on it. The second paradox. The more successful you are, the more you compare. You'd think success would free people from the need to compare themselves to others. But the opposite happens. The higher someone climbs, the sharper their urge to compare becomes. A successful entrepreneur spends hours studying competitors' strategies. A renowned artist constantly follows the work of fellow creatives. An established writer analyzes every new book in their genre. This isn't just professional curiosity. It's a deep-seated need for orientation that intensifies with growth. The more you achieve, the greater the fear of losing your position. The higher you rise, the scarier it becomes to fall short of your own standards. The third paradox. The cultural trap of modern life. Modern culture has created a unique form of neurosis by sending contradictory messages. Be yourself, but meet societal standards. Follow your own path, but achieve social success. Accept who you are, but constantly improve. Social media has taken this paradox to the extreme. It democratizes success, showing that anyone can achieve great things, while simultaneously devaluing achievements by constantly showcasing someone even more successful. It creates the illusion of closeness to unattainable role models and fosters a new form of social anxiety, where every moment of life feels like it has to be Instagram-worthy. Deep currents. What lies beneath comparison? Beneath the surface of comparison often hides the trauma of inadequacy. An early experience where a child realizes they are loved not for who they are, but for how well they meet expectations. The perfect child of a family friend always seemed better. This kind of trauma plants a core belief. I'm always just a little less than enough. It can manifest even in highly successful people, becoming both the driving force behind their achievements and a constant source of stress. Equally significant is the deferred life syndrome, where we compare ourselves not just to others but to an imagined version of ourselves. We create an unattainable ideal and postpone living our real life until we reach it. This leads to a paradox. The more we strive for the ideal, the further away it seems. When comparison becomes toxic, comparison can become especially painful during certain life phases. Times of personal change, changing jobs, starting new relationships, moving to a new place, etc. During these transitions, we're particularly vulnerable because our self-esteem is temporarily unstable. The old identity no longer fits, and the new one hasn't fully formed. In such moments, comparison can be especially toxic, undermining confidence in the path we've chosen. Periods of uncertainty, facing unpredictable outcomes, learning something new, lacking clear success metrics, etc. Uncertainty drives us to seek, correct, reference points in others' experiences, often forgetting that each path is unique. Moments of success, career growth, public recognition, achieving long-awaited goals, etc. Paradoxically, success can amplify comparison, triggering fears of not living up to new expectations or awakening the imposter syndrome. How the comparison mechanism works. Understanding the mechanism is the first step toward transforming it. Here's how it operates. 1. Trigger. We encounter someone else's success, well-being, or achievement. 2. Activation of old wounds. Memories of not being enough surface, triggering deep-seated fears and old behavioral patterns. 3. Defensive reaction. This can manifest as devaluing others' achievements, undermining our own worth, avoidance, or procrastination. 4. Reinforcement of the pattern. Each episode strengthens the core belief, creating a vicious cycle and reinforcing defensive behaviors. A practical path. How to transform comparison. Understanding the mechanisms behind your behavior is key. The goal isn't to stop comparing yourself to others. That's impossible and even harmful. The real aim is to transform toxic comparison into a tool for self-awareness and growth. This path includes developing awareness in moments of comparison, deepening your understanding of personal patterns, practicing acceptance of all emotions, including envy and jealousy, gradually integrating the parts of yourself you've rejected. Working with the comparison mechanism requires a holistic approach. Here are specific techniques to help turn toxic comparison into a growth tool. Trigger exploration. When you notice a painful comparison, pause and examine the moment. What exactly triggered you? What physical sensations arose? What thoughts came up first? Does this remind you of any earlier life experiences? Write down your observations. This helps identify recurring patterns. Restoring context. Behind every achievement lies a unique story. Ask yourself, what do I really know about this person's journey? What were their starting conditions? What challenges did they face? This analysis helps reveal the full picture beyond the polished surface. Reality versus interpretation. Take a sheet of paper. In the left column, write down only the facts, things that can be objectively verified. In the right column, jot down your interpretations and assumptions about those facts. You'll often see how easily we create painful stories out of thin air. 5 minutes of truth. A technique for addressing the deeper roots of comparison. Set aside 5 minutes to answer honestly. Why does this comparison trigger painful emotions? What do I truly want to achieve? What does success mean to me? Whose standards am I trying to meet? Write down your first, most genuine responses. Long-term strategies. Beyond techniques for acute moments, it's important to cultivate a healthy relationship with comparison over the long term. Start by keeping a personal achievement journal, not for public display, but for yourself. Document your real journey, including the struggles and setbacks. This will help you recognize your own progress instead of endlessly measuring yourself against others. Develop a habit of regular self-gratitude for even the smallest milestones. Learn to notice and celebrate your little victories, the things that genuinely matter to you, not just what's socially recognized as an achievement. A new perspective on an old problem. After analyzing thousands of stories, I've noticed something fascinating. Comparison isn't just destructive, it can be constructive too. A successful entrepreneur studies competitors' strategies, an artist analyzes the work of peers, and a writer immerses themselves in other authors' books. They all use comparison as a tool for growth. The difference lies in perspective. You can view others' achievements as proof of your own inadequacy. Or you can see them as a map of possibilities, highlighting where human potential can grow. Every time you catch yourself in a painful comparison, remember, this isn't a flaw in the system, it's part of how it works. The real question is how you choose to channel that energy. Will it propel you forward or lead to self-criticism? Will it fuel growth or cause suffering? What if the real secret isn't comparing yourself to others, but to the person you could become? Not to torture yourself with an unattainable ideal, but to clearly see your next step. Share in the comments. How do you transform comparison into a tool for growth?